this thing on?
We're talking about practice, man.
I mean, as I work with my hands. It's a misdemeanor in 27 states.
You gotta be comfortable with your co-host in this amount of space.
Yeah, I could see me and you.
This guy runs a state.
You get that through your head?
You just got hashtag content.
You know, technology and stuff.
Up in your grill. It's stuck in your teeth.
Now I have to mark them so I don't get the lick mic.
You're not really that stupid, are you?
Quavos.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We don't have a lot of editing this time.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen.
Take me out to the ballpark. We're a quarter way through the Major League season. We're talking some pastime.
Mayweather-McGregor, please. Is it really going to happen?
Plus, why does every suburban lawn have to be pristine?
And we're talking lax, bro.
To be determined. Episode 12, previously recorded from the studio in Mom's basement. Yeah! At Sports by Bond, Steve Bond. Steven, if we're proper. At Travs Matt Traybold. No why.
Pop!
Because it's not Maddie.
I like it. I like this new leaf we've been turning.
I'm trying to
turn a new leaf.
trying to turn over the new leaf. I realized for 11 episodes I've called you Maddie. But that's not it. It's just easier. That's the way hockey guys talk. There's an E, there's a...
Oh, no, I add Y's a lot of times, but Maddie is also a girl's name. Short for Madeline or Madeline.
Yeah, M-A-D-D-Y.
Yeah, but when you're speaking it, you don't know.
Matty. With T's, two T's.
It sounds too similar to me. I have a very good female friend named Maddie.
Okay.
But I think it's like, even just saying it now, it sounds similar.
It's a good start to a sports podcast.
Just breaking down. We're hooking on some phonics.
I got you jacked up a little too much there.
Well, and I screamed for no good reason.
You wanted to really emphasize that
Hooked
point.
on phonics.
You really wanted to emphasize that.
George Murison or Vlade Divac.
Well, listen.
I'm trying to remember the commercials.
Speak of hooked on phonics. Maddie, what's the word this week?
Speaking of hooked on phonics, we got a lot of words, okay? Because we're going all different kinds of fields of play.
Well, they're not all fields, if I'm honest. There's only one
No,
field.
no.
There's only one field.
No.
There's a diamond, there's a court.
No, but
And there's
it's
a
crux.
pond.
It's crux. They're fields of play.
Okay, all right. The phrase, more than anything else.
We got a court. We got a frozen pond. A sheet. We got a diamond.
All right, so we're talking baseball today with Justin Granite of WTSP down in Tampa Bay, the Tampa St. Pete market.
Yeet.
This week's number, hopefully useful to those fans of the frozen pond. And our female correspondent, Ashley Carter, joins us to talk malfashion, Exhibit A, at Trabs Matt.
Miss Carter.
But yes, Maddie, as you said, the word this week, all about some basketball, some puck, and some diamond. We'll start with basketball because that's the quickest to take care of in terms of business.
Charles
Really,
agrees.
The only storyline of this postseason is that could we have two teams go 12-0 and meet in the finals between, of course, the Cavaliers and the Warriors? I think it's going to happen. It just seems inevitable at this point, Maddie.
I mean,
Throw one in the square jar. Throw one in the square jar for me.
I didn't even realize until you guffawed like that.
Listen, it's going to happen more than once.
Yeah. No. I mean, we have to get some kind of tally going.
Do you see this happening, Matt? Sorry.
It's another syllable added. But, yeah, I think there's a pretty good shot of it, and I think a lot of people thought that. We're hoping that would be the outcome when it comes to the finals at the very start of these playoffs. That's even before Kawhi Leonard gets hurt, before David Lee gets hurt, before Isaiah Thomas gets hurt. It is just a foregone conclusion at this point. Now that those three, I mean, David Lee isn't as big of a deal in all this as the other two are. But you're talking about the best players on those two teams. Out. Top 5 MVP candidates. Just out against teams that maybe had the chance to sweep before that.
Yeah, even with a full roster, a full complement of talented players. I am intrigued by this postseason in the NBA for only one reason. The fact that we could have, for the first time, two 12-0 teams meet in the finals. That's the only reason I care about this postseason. And really, from the very get-go, I wanted to see another first for the NBA when you have two teams meeting for a third straight finals. in what could be the Warriors and the Cavs, or what really looks to be the Warriors and the Cavs, I should say. That's the only reason I'm intrigued by the NBA Finals. Otherwise, as everyone has noted, it has been a blowout. It has not been entertaining basketball. I don't care. I'll check the headlines the next morning. I'll watch the highlights after the game. I'm not devoting the time to watching the games, plain and simple.
When we were looking this stuff up, seeing if there's been two teams going into the finals against each other at 12-0, there hasn't even been an 8-0 situation like that. So this is a really big deal, and I know there's been a big talk, especially Charles Barkley is kind of at the pedestal of it because he's such a big figure publicly, just saying how boring these playoffs have been.
Yeah, good
But
nugget.
it could
Good
really
nugget.
just turn over the fact that if the finals has this milestone going on, but like he said, if you kept watching that game with the historic halftime deficit that the Celtics were dealing with, then you're a little ridiculous.
All right, let's go to the ice, and we'll talk more about hockey and by the numbers. But the Pens handling the Sens in Game 5, I believe the final was 7-0 on that one on Sunday. The story with Nash and Anaheim is simple. It's all about injuries. Game 6 is Monday in Nashville. I think the Preds get it done tomorrow. They just seem to be right now the healthier of the two. And I'll break that down a little bit further. Ducks goalie John Gibson saying he will be ready Monday night, but really my question is how healthy is he after he really got his right leg tangled up in the net in Game 4, I believe, Game 5 it was.
Well, something that you've talked about in the show before is when you had the concussion issues earlier in the playoffs for
With
Sidney
Sidney
Crosby, and he came back. It didn't seem like it was 100%, and that might have been maybe a little bit of a reason why Ottawa, seemingly an inferior opponent, was able to take it in those first couple games to the Pens, and now you have that again. Is he 100%?
Well, Gibson, if he's going to return, he's got to go now because they're on the brink of elimination. Yeah. In terms of Sidney Crosby, I think this game, Game 5, he looked like, I don't want to say vintage Sidney Crosby, but the assist to Phil Kessel's goal, that's as good as it gets.
Where was he looking? He wasn't even
in the
periffing
back
it.
of his head.
He wasn't even periffing it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he did that.
When you break it down, it's hockey sense to me because he knows that play is designed to a certain extent. He knows that there's got to be somebody on the back post, that Phil is going to be there. But to put it on his tape, I mean, some of it is a degree of luck, don't get me wrong, but that is absurd. Just the awareness and the gumption to make that pass, as only Sidney Crosby can do. All right,
Chutzpah?
Maddie, that too. Let's go to the diamond, Maddie. Another one. God, I'm 2 in this A block alone, and you keep missing it. That's all right. Biggest storyline of the first quarter of the MLB season. I've got down here the Yankees. You disagreed with me a little bit on this, and that's fine, but I've got the Yankees simply because they're very young. This is a young squad.
Well, I'm been turning around a little bit because you convinced me a little bit, and I was thinking of other factors that make that the case. But it's very surprising because for so long, obviously, Yankees are definitely the most notable team, but they've been so old and underachieving for a little bit now because I think they have been showing that old factor. But gosh, you look at him now. I mean, Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge.
Fun to watch.
And then Gary Sanchez is back. Ronald Torreyes. Jordan Montgomery. It's absurd. Greg Bird, who's out right now, but when he comes back, he was doing pretty well early in the season before he got injured. Just the youth movement of this team.
At one point, they won 8 in a row, sweeping, let me see what it was now, if I've got it written down here. Both the Cards and the Rays during that 8-game winning streak. Judge appears to be the MVP of the Yankees so far. 15 dingers, 30 ribs, and a .321 batting average. And the play he made Sunday in the outfield, the diving grab, for a guy that's 6'7", that is phenomenal. That's fun baseball.
He's huge.
Admittedly, I'm not the biggest baseball guy. He's fun to watch.
He's huge. It's
really
funny.
is.
I don't know if you saw earlier in the week, Jimmy Fallon had the whole segment where Aaron Judge was talking about Aaron Judge, but had somewhat of a disguise on talking to Yankees fans, and he had to do it sitting down.
It's hard to disguise 6'7".
Exactly. Yeah. He had to do it sitting down because everyone would know as Aaron Judge if he was standing up at 6'7". It's unbelievable. But I think because of this youth movement aspect, and Houston has had, because of their youth movement, a couple years earlier, they've had success, at least in terms of the organization, relative to the organization, more recently than the Yankees. So maybe the Yankees could be the most pleasant surprise right now over the Astros.
The Stros losing their ace to the DL for, I believe it was a pinched nerve in his neck.
Yes, I think it was the neck.
Right now, they're the best team in baseball record-wise. Will it hold up? Can they sustain that? Because last year, this is almost a complete opposite, a Polaroid picture of
Shake it like a
polar
polar
photo
opposite.
negative. Polar opposite, photo negative is where I wanted to go with that. They seem to be a photo negative of last year.
I was hoping you were making an Outcast reference. Shake it
Sorry.
like a Polaroid picture.
No, but
Andre 3000, big boy, what up?
that wouldn't have anything to do with the Astros, though.
It would have absolutely
It would have
nothing.
nothing to do with it.
0%, 0.00%.
Can
but-
they sustain this?
I think they can because it's not just the pitching. Obviously, Dallas Keuchel, that's a huge loss. He was huge 2 years ago, and then a microcosm of their team failure last year to get 2 big-time seasons in a row was him. He took a real big shot down. He was back up this year. It's very unfortunate because you like to see a guy like that who started off his career with the same team being just dreadful his first 3 seasons in the MLB, and now it's really turning around. But this is a team, they have so much in terms of both young guys. We were just talking about the Yankees a second ago. Brian McCann is now doing big things. He's over the Astros,
Yep.
helping out in the clubhouse. All those really young kids, because they still have them. I know they were young guys 2 years ago too, but they're still young for the most part. But you have a guy like Evan Gaddis, speaking of catchers, he was top 25 in dingers in the entire MLB last year. He's not even starting.
Yeah,
You
it's
got
amazing.
McCann starting. So you have depth on top of youth, on top of veterans. They have a full rotation. It's not just Dallas Keuchel. I think he should be back before too long. I forgot who was talking there when we saw the video, but I think they were saying that it shouldn't be too crazy an injury. So I think he'll come back with a
They're
vengeance.
hoping he only misses one start.
Oh, that's
the
not
Keuchel
bad
only
at all.
misses one start.
Yeah.
Who's the bigger story, the Yankees or the Astros?
I think, like I was saying a second
Or is
ago.
there a dark horse that's third?
No, I would say it's definitely between those. I mean, Astros obviously because these aren't the Astros of Lance Berkman.
Okay, so you're going with
and
the Astros.
Craig Biggio,
Okay.
Jeff Bagwell, so on and so forth with that. So you think, you see the Astros at the top, not only of their division, but all of baseball record-wise, and you say, that is very big. That should be the top. But I think they've had success more recently relative to their organization within the last half-decade than the Yankees. So I think the Yankees are probably a little bit more of a pleasant surprise.
Most disappointing team in baseball?
Hey, it comes from
Maybe the Cubs?
We've talked about how I root for the Pirates, same division. Cubs, it's early. It's early, but it's the fact that they're third in the division and the surprising Brewers are at the top. I don't think they can really sustain that
Sure.
because I don't know if their pitching staff is quite as good as their boppers right now in that lineup. So it's got to be the Cubs, though. And a lot of people are looking at Jake Arrieta because his numbers are not the same. And people are saying, it's because he's not taking PEDs anymore because he got maybe a little bit of a fret, people talking about what a positive swing he had from coming from the Orioles where it was bad to the Cubs where he was dominant. But I think they're going to be just fine.
They're
They didn't lose too
struggling to
much.
They're struggling to stay above 500, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a quarter of the way through. Is it just early season cobwebs and you got to shake it off, or
to a certain degree, because they didn't have a lot of big losses. David Ross is now dancing at a
in terms of the roster, you're saying not a lot of big losses?
so
Okay.
big turnover. And it's
Okay.
this early in the year, not going to have a bunch of really bad losses in terms of the record. But David Ross is gone. He's a good clubhouse guy. But I mean, Wilson Contreras is huge, not only in stature, but as a player, as a young player in this league. I don't think that's too much of a drop-off. Dexter Fowler's now elsewhere in the NL Central with the Cardinals, but I think they don't have a lot of holes in their lineup because of turnover like that. So I think they're just going to be fine.
Who's real quick, Matty? We're winding down the A block here. Who's the one player to keep your eye on, or you're keeping your eye on in the bigs?
I think it's got to be Paul Goldschmidt, and I know a lot of other people might be pinpointing it now, but take out all the power numbers that he does year after year after year. But I was checking earlier in the week at just I do it periodically, check who at the top of all of the major pitching and not really fielding, but pitching and hitting categories in the entire MLB and see where the Pirates are in terms of that. And like usual, it's ERA and nothing else. And I see stolen bases, Paul Goldschmidt, top 5.
Interesting.
And this is not only a first baseman, but a big first baseman.
Yeah.
Physically. So not only is top 5, but I was surprised last year he had tens of stolen bases on top of it. It's huge.
Well, we will see if our first guest concurs with you and the rest of what we discussed, at least about baseball. Justin Granite, WTSP down in Tampa. He covers the Rays. He covers MLB spring training. He's got his ear, or his finger on the pulse, I should say, is really the way to go. Justin Granite after this music.
You're you, I'm me. I hope you listen to the first block to learn our names. This is To Be Determined.
Never gets old. At Sports by Bond with at Trabs Matt. Pleased to be joined by the one and only at Justin Granite.
What's up, fellas? How are you?
What's the word, my man? We're
good.
doing well. How is everything in sunny St. Pete?
Not sunny right now. Rainy. but
Really?
It's like the first rain I've seen in like 6 months. So the golf courses have been real dry, and I'm gonna blame all of that dried out fairway for my scores these days.
That's a good excuse. That's a very good excuse. Justin Granite, sports anchor, reporter of WTSP in, well, technically it's the Tampa St. Pete market, right?
Yeah, it's Tampa St. Pete.
Okay.
We're on the St. Pete side at the bridge. Covering the Bucks, the Bolts, the Rays, some little USF football. Charlie Strong.
Yes.
Florida State, Florida. A little bit of Miami too. It's been sunny and good.
They get a lot, and Justin, fortunately for him, is closer to the Rays Stadium than anything else.
I literally can walk there within 5 minutes. I can eat dinner here like I did on Friday night and get to a Yankees-Rays game, leave my apartment and be in my seat within 10 minutes. And the only reason you can do that is because no one goes to Rays games. And if you try that at any stadium elsewhere, it'd take you an hour. But I can walk right in.
It's funny the way that works. The interesting part about that market and where you are is that there are a bunch of different fans there because of spring training. So you get a number of teams down in that area. You get exposed to a number of different teams. And the fan base down there gets exposed to a number of different teams that they may like, maybe even so because they've moved, right?
Well, it's twofold. It's all the spring training teams, and this team didn't begin until 1998. So you had all the teams around the area, the Red Sox, the Tigers, the Yankees. These people grew up fans of those teams because they didn't have their own ball club. Yeah. And the fact that you have so many people from Canada, from New York, from Detroit. Half of the Rays-Yankees games feel like Yankees games. You get go Yankees chants and then the boos. And that's the loudest those games ever are, is when Yankee fans or Red Sox fans start cheering for their own team, and you get the kickback from Rays fans. So it's a really unique, weird, I would put it, atmosphere for baseball games. I love it because it's just Major League Baseball, and it's what I love to cover. But definitely different than growing up going to Yankees games where everyone's a Yankees fan, and if you're a fan of another team, you get kicked in the teeth. So certainly different.
They're just the smart Northerners. Maddie and I are the dumb ones that have stuck around upstate New York still.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing. I see sun every day. I think I saw sun 5 days living 4 years there.
That's probably true. We'll throw that for by the numbers the next block. All right, but let's jump right into it then. Speaking of the Yankees, how have the Yankees been able to make the jump to the top of this AL East? It's a very competitive league right now.
I mean, they are destroying the baseball, and they have the best bullpen in baseball. Aaron Judge smashing the cover off it. He made a ridiculous catch today at the Trop. 6'7", 280 pounds. He's like a linebacker, but plays like he's Brett Gardner out there. Really just the combination of that bullpen, and every player looks like they're having a career year. Starlin Castro, the best start of his career. Brett Gardner having a great season. So it's that combination. The starting pitching staff has done enough. Coincidentally enough, Masahiro Tanaka has been their worst starter, and he is their ace. Yeah. So when you have that combination of the young and old, like Matt Holliday and Aaron Judge, all tearing the cover off the ball, in a bullpen when you have a lead after 6 innings, the game is over, you find yourself at the top of the division.
So speaking of that division, another team in it, the team you cover, Tampa Bay Rays, off to a better start than last year, well under 500. I think it was 26 games under 500 at the end of last season. So is this upswing, is it good enough to compete in this very hard AL East?
I mean, they're going to be there, I think, for most of the season. They're not going to compete for the division. I had them at 81-81 to begin the year. Right now, they're exactly at 500, where I thought they would be. Yeah. Here's the thing about this team. They destroy the baseball like the Yankees. They're tied in the AL with home runs. But the thing is, they're so streaky. And when you become that streaky, you're going to go through these lulls where you lose 3, then you win 3. Recently, Corey Dickerson has been on a tear, their leadoff hitter. And the reason why they have won so many games, or at least have been 500, is because they have scored the most runs in the first inning in all of baseball this year, led by Corey Dickerson, who's putting up all-star numbers. Bullpen, maybe the worst in baseball. They have one of the best closers in baseball, Alex Colomé, a guy a lot of people don't know. But when they hand the ball over and Kevin Cash stretches out his starters, he'll let them throw 115 pitches. The other day, Alex Cobb, coming off of Tommy John surgery, I think he threw 115. He'll let those guys go because he knows what's going to happen when they hand it over to the bullpen, and that's going to be a loss or at least giving up a few runs. And they've had struggle scoring late in games. So I think they're exactly where they should be. Their outfield defense is outstanding. Kevin Kiermaier, for my money, not only the best fielder in baseball today, but one of the best all-time fielders, and that's why you stick him with a $50 million+ contract. Even though he can't hit the baseball, he's preventing at least 40 runs a year with his glove. We saw him rob a home run to win the Indian series a few days ago. So I think they're exactly where they are. Solid starting pitching, streaky hitting, hit home runs, and a terrible bullpen. The unfortunate thing for them, guys, with that Moneyball idea and not spending a lot of money, they're probably going to trade a guy like Alex Cobb before the deadline. He's their number 2, maybe number 3 starter. They can't sustain with that payroll, so it's a shame. And you talk about the fans down here and how silent the Trop is and how the number is so down year after year in attendance because they trade their guys away.
Yeah.
They've got to figure a way to sustain that by building through the organization, which they did from 2008 to about 2013, and there's been a lull since then.
And you had success during those times for the Rays. So, yeah, it's very evident. Let's stay with the AL East for one more. Are the Red Sox better than their record would indicate?
Oh, significantly. I mean, this is the team that I picked to go to the World Series. There's no panic. Dustin Pedroia even said it last night. Every team gets punched in the mouth. It's what you do to respond to that. The season is so long. What are they, a game under 500? Xander Bogaerts hasn't hit a home run this year. He hit 21 last year. He's one of their best players. They're going to come alive. Chris Sale is striking out guys more than Bondo strikes out when he takes women on dates. I mean,
there's no truth to that fact. All right,
they will be fine. They're going to get David Price back eventually, you hope. With that pitching staff, Rick Porcello, the reigning AL Cy Young, who I think is not as good as he was last year, but he's still solid enough to be a number 3 starter. They're fine. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to compete for the division. I still think they're going to win the division once the Orioles and Yankees come back down to earth. Absolutely no concerns with that team.
You speak of teams coming back down from earth. That's what the Astros did last year. The best team in baseball record-wise right now.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think they've been able to turn it around?
Man, that team is unbelievable. I saw them here play at the Trop. Also watched them closely when they played the Yankees a few weeks ago. Dallas Keuchel struggled last year, had an ERA over 4. He is back to his Cy Young stuff from a few years ago. It's going to come down to him and Chris Sale for that Cy Young award. I think Chris Sale will get it, but those are 2 lefties and 2 very different styles. Overpowering stuff from Sale. Keuchel's going to mix and match the zones with his changeup and really keep hitters off balance. It's been Dallas Keuchel. He's been tremendous, and Lance McCullers, their number 2 starter, actually from the Tampa area. He's been great as well. You know exactly where you're going to get from Altuve, the smallest and maybe quietest star in baseball, about Bondo and my size at like 5'6". I think I could outbench him, to be honest. Bondo maybe not so much, but
I wouldn't even say I couldn't even outsquat him either. That's the thing I got going for me. There's no way. I mean,
but I mean Correa, the whole that team just they have everything. They've got an 7th, 8th inning guy, Devlinsky, who he's a Dellin Betances for them. They're going to be there in the long haul. I think they're going to win that division. It's going to be fun with them and the Rangers. But Dallas Keuchel has been the difference because you knew what they were going to get with their batters.
Justin Granite, WTSP sports anchor reporter extraordinaire down in the Tampa St. Pete market. But what do you make of the Cubs this year? I mean, we're about a quarter of the way through, and it just by all measures, it doesn't seem like they have quite clicked yet.
Same thing with them and the Red Sox. There's no panic.
Yeah.
This team is going to they're going to win the division. They're probably going to be in the World Series again. You got to remember, this team didn't have an off season. And that's with any World Series team, and I'm not making excuses for them, but there's an extra layer of that when you haven't won the damn thing in 108 years. Every late night show, every appearance, White House, they never had the off season. They were maybe off for 2 weeks. When you have talent like that, you're going to be there. The pitching staff has been terrible to begin with this year. John Lester has struggled at times. They give up runs by the dozens in the first inning. They've got off to slow starts within games, not only within the season. Absolutely no worry with them. Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, 2 of the best players in all of baseball. Javi Baez, his glove is unbelievable. Same goes with Addison Russell. They're going to be there. They're going to win that division. I just think they're tired. And I know that's crazy to say a quarter of the way into the season, but they're turning the corner now, and you see that. And especially that 19, whatever it was, 18-inning game with the Yankees added on, plus with the long offseason, that certainly didn't help. And I really think teams can feel a lasting effect when you play a game that long, but they're fine. They're gonna go back to the playoffs.
Who's been the best player of the MLB so far through the first 40?
I mean, I know people love saying Bryce Harper. I'm not going to go that way, though. I'm going with Paul Goldschmidt of the Arizona Diamondbacks, first baseman. He has unbelievable power, but you look at his numbers, he's also stolen 11 bases. I mean, there's a first baseman that can swipe bags time and time again. For my money, he's been the early season MVP. I know the common sexy pick is Bryce Harper because he is one of baseball's superstars along with Mike Trout. I think you kind of take advantage of Mike Trout like you do with LeBron. You don't say Mike Trout because you know he is without question the best player in baseball. But for this season, Paul Goldschmidt, you look at his numbers and where that team is sitting in second place behind another surprising team, the Rockies. For my money right now, the MVP for me in the NL is Paul Goldschmidt.
All right, we're essentially a quarter way through with what, 40, little over 40 games done. What's one thing to keep our eye on in this next quarter before we get to the All-Star break?
There are 3 teams right now that lead their divisions that you would say absolutely no shot. Colorado, Milwaukee, and Minnesota. For me, it's Milwaukee out of all those teams where I'm just thinking, how are they doing this? And it's Eric Thames. They signed him from Japan. The dude hit like 140 home runs the last 3 years. No one knew who he was except for the Brewers. They've had a scout with him. They've had their eyes on him for a few years. Dude is mashing the baseball. He's scored, I think, 40 runs, 13 home runs. And especially with Ryan Braun on the disabled list, I don't know how this team is winning because they're not good, but they're doing it. Eric Thames is the one to look out for. This team, do they have the staying power? I don't think so, especially with the Cubs and the Cardinals in that division, but they've been really fun. He's been really fun to watch. I know there's been a couple people throwing around accusations of some shady stuff he's been doing with drugs. Mm-hmm. Listen, I will never accuse a guy until he's guilty, and by no means do I think he is on anything. And he's had comments and words to rebut that. He's been crushing the baseball. It's been fun to watch, and he's getting paid too.
Yeah, just sit back and enjoy and watch it.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
I mean, too many times we turn right to that, and I get it. It's the nature of the sport, and it's even the nature of professional sports these days. But man, just enjoy it while you got it.
Yeah. So getting away.
I mean, every guy, you're going to point fingers for every guy that comes out of nowhere.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's the nature of the game, and the generation before it ruined that. The Bonzes and the Clemens of the world. But that's part of it, and you know, until he takes a piss test and he fails it.
Yeah.
Dude is clean in my book.
So getting away from baseball now, we got 5 more questions for you. First off, what's your alma mater?
University of Maryland. Come on, Bondo. Would they beat up on Albany today? Is that true?
They did.
Oh, did they? It was ugly.
Max Bros for life.
We watched the whole thing, and it was. I mean, listen, your boy John Tillman has him playing maybe the best ball I've ever seen him play.
I don't even know who that is. I guess that's the head coach.
Yeah, okay.
Holla at your Terps lacrosse program.
Dude,
doubled them up. Doubled them up.
Yeah, doubled up Albany. Their defense.
And they've got some Rochester guys on that Albany squad, right?
Yeah, a couple of them. A couple of them. Is it Pat or Dan Barrow?
Pat.
It's one of the Barrows. Is Blades Reardon still on that team?
No,
I wish.
T.D. Erlin winning the faceoffs. T.D. Erlin, a freshman, was second in the nation, I think, in faceoff percentage.
Oh, we're still talking lacrosse?
Yeah, for God's sakes. Listen, you can't get me started. I'll be talking lax as long as you can talk baseball. So yeah, your boys are on to the finals, or Final Four, I should say, and I got them. I think they're going to win the whole thing. I do.
Where's the Final Four? Philly, D.C.,
Boston.
Where is it?
Boston.
Baltimore, Boston?
Yeah.
Hogan.
Right. Your boy Chris Hogan back at it.
Boy Chris Hogan.
All right, Justin Granite, a man of many talents. What is your secret talent?
I don't really have one, man. I mean, honestly, my secret talent is like kicking it with my dog.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Ooh,
there we
there
go.
we go.
We'll switch to the camera
Yo,
there on
Mike.
the video version.
Oh,
Mike
hey.
the dog.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really don't have a secret talent. I like to dance. I'm a damn good dancer. I like to pump my fist.
That's two. All right. So
I have heard you're a good dancer.
You and Javad, 2 in a row, we've gone dancing as the secret talent.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I can go with like I'm an exceptional ironer. I can iron some damn good clothing.
Hey, that is an answer. That's a skill.
Wait, time out. You've had Jonah on before me?
Well, we had to talk NBA. That's all. I mean, we wanted to wait about a corner of the way through.
Man, if I knew that, I would have.
And Javad was upset that we had someone on before him. So it's.
I may have declined this invitation if I knew that Javad got run before me, but it's cool.
I'll put it to you this way: you're the first baseball guy that we got on.
Cool.
All right,
Yeah,
so that's top billing on
that
the
is true.
baseball.
All right.
Which actor would play you in a movie?
Oh God, that's easy. Ryan Gosling. I think I would play him in a movie.
Yeah.
I see it. I'll give it to you.
I do see it though.
Favorite
honestly.
beer?
Favorite beer, Guinness.
Really? I thought you were going Bud Heavy.
Oh, I mean, yes, Bud Heavy when I'm getting after it. Yes. Like when we're going out, and I'm like, I'm ready to go, we're going Bud Heavy. But if I'm sitting down, Guinness.
All right, full disclosure, I worked with Justin for 3 years.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I don't think I ever saw you have a Guinness. It was always Bud Heavy or Bud Light.
Because we get after it.
Okay, all right,
I mean,
fair enough.
we're not sitting down, man. We're getting after it.
Rounding it out, where can we find you on the internet?
Like in some shady videos or
Not
something?
some shady-
That
oh,
sounds
God,
weird.
Not
You're
that
right. That
stuff.
sounds
Not your
weird.
life before TV.
I don't
Like
really
Twitter and
know.
whatnot.
That's
The Twitter handle.
Twitter handle. Where can we read your stuff?
Justin Granite, man. Simple,
All right.
easy.
All right.
No E at the end.
What's the website? Where can we find the stories?
You can go to Facebook. I post all the features,
Okay.
all the fun stuff on just type in my name and that'll be me. We got some good features up there, fun stuff. I dressed up as one of the Pepsi bottle mascots recently.
I saw
at
that
a
one.
Rays game. Dressed up in that bad boy, ran the race, and Raymond, the Rays mascot, tackled me as I was sprinting towards the finish line. Because Bondo, you know I got motors.
I thought that's where you're going to go with this. The secret talent that no one knows that you're a former Division I sprinter.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you
Well,
were
not
going with.
sprinter,
Secret talent.
Miler.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
He's fast.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the point.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like
It's not a secret though.
It's D1
to some
speed right
people,
there.
but-
I feel like that's more of like Bruce Springsteen's glory days than it is like a secret talent.
Yeah, I got you.
That's like, yeah, man. Like, and it's not even cool. It's not even like I was a D1 like linebacker or a point guard. Yeah, okay, I was a miler. Cool, bro. Like 40 pounds lighter and could get blown over by the wind.
Hey, listen, that was before you figured out Armageddon. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, Justin Granite of WTSP down in Tampa Bay. We appreciate the time, my man.
All right, fellas. Thanks for having me on, and I'll let it slide. Jonah was on before me.
Our first baseball guy. That's what we're going with. All right, around the break, is Mayweather-McGregor a real possibility? And the get off my lawn moment, as Matty Shakes said, the get off my lawn moment, a very literal get off my lawn moment. Take it as you will. TBD rolling on.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da, TBD, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
I didn't realize you were going to bring your own bump music into the
Honestly-
game. I would have just potted that down. You should have given me the heads up.
And I completely forgot that it was my turn to say that we're coming back from break. So that's what I was thinking of at the time. So that's
You're an honest fella.
that's inside Santa's workshop
You're
right
an
there.
honest fella. C Block at Sports by Bond with @Trebs. Matt, the show is to be determined. Of course, you downloaded it, so you'd know that. The Twitter. You can find the show on the Twitter at TBD_show. We're on Instagram,
The Twitter URL.
to be determined show. You can email the show, tbdmailman@gmail.com.
Twitter.com.
Twitter.com/TBD_show. All right, Matty, as I said, it's the C Block.
Backslash.
I thought you were going to bring us back as this is the C Block with some creative little nugget. You went an entirely different way.
I think it was still creative and nuggety.
Next time you are going to add your own bump music, let me know. I won't play the bump music, okay?
Hey, if I knew prior, I would have told you.
Let's jump into B-side story. This is a true B-side story. We're going to attempt to give you more true B-side stories as opposed to just big stories that we didn't get to in the A block type deal. So, B-side story, Conor McGregor's side of the potential McGregor-Mayweather mega fight is all set. Apparently all set. He came to an agreement with the UFC and Dana White.
Dana.
Floyd, meanwhile, saying that if he fights again, there's a 90% chance it's against Conor McGregor. Intriguing. Where does he get 90 from?
He's got like a lot of metrics at play here. He has a whole team of scientists.
Is that sabermetrics or analytics?
Look at you learning your baseball stuff. I'm going to get you a baseball team next week. Sabermetrics, throwing it out there, halfway there.
Either way, Conor McGregor has applied and received, to my knowledge, his boxing license from the state of Nevada. Mayweather's representatives are reportedly supposed to meet with Dana White in the coming days. Not sure when exactly that's going to be.
That's going to be.
You have to think that if they can come to an agreement, this fight, potential mega fight, is going to break every pay-per-view record. If it happens. So one, Maddie, do you think it happens? And two, who you got?
I mean, it's gone further down the road to happening than I ever would have imagined. But just the mix of Dana White and the Mayweather camp, who's been, well, they've been them.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Since Mayweather's gotten a little bit older here, and he has to be a little bit more strategic about who he's boxing against.
He's battling Father Time. They've already waited a year to do this, so he's a year older, and he's only going to get older.
That's a combination that makes me think there's a good chance it doesn't happen.
It sounds like it's going to be a straight-up boxing match, if it ever happens.
That's the news with all this that flummoxed me this week. It's to hear that Dana White, well, he mentioned that his side was done, that the McGregor side was done, which is surprising in its own right. But on top of that, to say just out and out, straight boxing. Because, yes, it'd be a little bit ridiculous for them to find some hybrid thing. But at the same time, Conor McGregor's not a boxer.
No. So you're thinking Mayweather then. You like Mayweather in this one.
Yeah, I think I know Mayweather isn't a spring chicken, but, I mean, the hands, I keep saying this, the hand speed is so different between MMA and boxing.
I just want to know when we're all going to stop being duped by Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
I genuine question, because we got the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight, and was anyone entertained by
Quote,
that?
unquote, yes.
Was anyone entertained by that?
No, I'd say yes.
Do you think...
I mean, no.
Okay, now you've confused me even more. Do you think anyone in their right mind would think that Mayweather's going to go out and actually try to box this guy and go punch for punch with him? It's going to be a defensive display yet again from Floyd Mayweather because, one, he's old, two, that's what he does, and three, his hands are brittle. That's exactly what he's going to do. This will not be an entertaining fight. Yes, it'll break every pay-per-view record. Yes, Floyd Mayweather will win in a decision because that's what it's going to do. It's going to go the full 10 or wherever they're going to go with however many rounds they're going to go. It's going to go to a decision, and he's going to dance around the ring because that's what Floyd does. God forbid Conor McGregor actually catches him with a couple. Yeah. McGregor's going to knock him on his keister because he's old. Yeah. And I truly believe McGregor has that kind of power, but I don't think McGregor's going to get anywhere near him. Floyd is still fast. Floyd is still Floyd even at 40 whatever.
Yeah, you mentioned that the hands are brittle and they've had their issues.
He's had problems with his hands for years.
Everything else is ticking. But I wonder if it'll beat the pay-per-view record because it beat it last time with Mayweather-Pacquiao.
I think because
and
it's so
many people were turned off by that fight.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I didn't mean to interrupt
you. Oh, you're
good. I think it will because it's intriguing. You're bringing boxing fans, you're bringing UFC fans, you're bringing fight fans. You're bringing the average Joe to the table in this one because it's so different. Because people want to see, is the UFC ready to take over? And by all accounts, they are ready to take over boxing and boxing's reign for so many, many years. And is boxing dead? Well, yeah, it is. And the last great hope was Floyd Mayweather. And what did he do? He danced around the ring until he could collect his $100 million paycheck.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the points you guys make, that's why I'm a little bit confused as to maybe why they didn't try for a hybrid, even though there's reasons against it.
Mayweather never would have done it.
Yeah, that's
never would have done it.
That's true, but I think it's good for boxing, the Joshua fight, and the fact that Triple G versus Canelo is supposed to be happening. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll really help boxing in this tussle.
You would hope.
Tussle of popularity.
You would hope. All right, let's go to by the numbers. The number this week is 26, as in the number of overtime games the NHL has had this postseason. The record 28, so we're pretty darn close to breaking the record. I think they get there. You only need 3 more. Got a couple more games left on either side. I know we've got 3-2 right now as it stands when you're listening to this podcast on Monday in both the East and the West. But then you've got the Stanley Cup Final, and who knows? These are 4 great teams that are left. I think we can break that number. We didn't get an overtime on Sunday, It was anything but an overtime game. Whatever the complete opposite was, Sunday was the definition of that. 7-0 win for the Pens. They had 4 goals in the first. They simply dominated at home. So we turn our attention to Nashville and Anaheim. Game 6 tonight, meaning Monday. Nash is up 3-2 in the series. It shifts back to Nashville. My question is, what can we expect? Well, both teams banged up. The Ducks have 6 injuries in May. The Preds have 3 injuries in this series alone. So that's the headline, really, of this entire series. Is unfortunate, but it's injuries. But it just shows you, Maddie, how much of a battle the postseason can be. And especially when guys aren't getting fined for stuff. When they're not getting fined, when they're not worried about their pocketbooks, they're just worried about the play, it turns into an all-out war.
It really is too bad that you've had one of the big storylines in the entire playoffs be injuries and be across plenty of teams. That's really too bad, but...
Well, you're seeing it in the West, and you saw it with Sidney Crosby against Washington when he got the concussion. That was the major headline in the NHL.
And you have a lot of people saying, from an excitement factor, that really want to see Game 7s, because that's a whole other monster when it comes to excitement in the postseason.
Yeah.
But I think it's being balanced out, not a lot of Game 7s. You're still getting so much excitement out of the fact that there's so many overtime games. You even have Charles Barkley saying, watch those more. Watch the NHL more at this time of the year with the postseason. So.
The 7-0 game was an anomaly. This postseason has been phenomenal, I think, from an entertainment standpoint. And my dog isn't in the fight, so...
And it's ironic it comes against Ottawa, that 7-0, because they've been part of plenty of these OTs.
Well, and Ottawa is such a disciplined defensive squad that it's surprising to see that. I mean, Anderson gets yanked in the first. He didn't even finish the first period. And Anderson has been significantly better than his numbers would indicate. I would argue that, at least. I think he's not in the Conn Smythe conversation, but my goodness, has he been darn good. And especially given all the things he's battling with his wife, battling breast cancer. That's a great story. It's a great story in any sport. One thing I wanted to note here, and I said this to a friend out at a bar this previous weekend, I'm convinced that whoever wins the East will now win the Stanley Cup simply because Nashville and Anaheim are just beating each other senseless. I don't know that either of them are going to be healthy enough to go toe-to-toe with a Pittsburgh or an Ottawa.
Well, plus, I think the NHL really hopes, and whatever the TV networks involved are, really hope it's Ottawa Penn, because... you don't really... I mean, Nashville's got big names.
They don't want it to be Ottawa. They do not want it to be Ottawa because Ottawa falls in an obscure territory. They're almost in purgatory because they're located right between Toronto and Montreal. And those two fan bases are rabid. And then it's kind of like, we don't know what to do in Ottawa, but there's a team.
Really? A Canadian team is like that? That's too bad.
Yes. And they may be the only Canadian team that is like that. Vancouver's kind of off on their own island. Edmonton's on their island. Even Winnipeg's on their island.
Nordiques? What are you thinking?
Not in existence anymore, but yes. And then you've got Toronto, obviously the most rabid fan base of all.
They have more fans than the Nordiques. They can look at that as a positive.
I don't know about that, but
oh, really?
That's a pretty bold statement that you can't back up with fact.
But you just said that the club's not a thing right now.
The Nordiques aren't a thing. All right, Maddie, let's go to...
That's what I said.
Never mind. Oh, you're saying that the Sens have more fans.
Than the Nordiques.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the Nordiques had more fans. Very confused there. I get what you're saying. Yes, you're right. I was on a roll there. I'm sorry.
Such a minx.
All right, so the number this week is 26. Let's jump to Get Off My Lawn. This is a very literal Get Off My Lawn moment. The studio in Mom's basement is located in a suburban neighborhood in upstate New York. For the fans that are unaware, we do the podcast in upstate New York. We do have fans all over the country and even some abroad. Shout out to those in Canada and in the UK.
Laos?
I don't know about Laos. I know we were in Edinburgh and just outside of London.
Serbia, but not Serbia. Oh, my gosh. Serbia. God. Serbia, but not Montenegro.
Okay, all right.
Serbia.
I'm going to have to get out my atlas. Anyway, the Get Off My Lawn moment, very literal. It's in the location is in a suburban neighborhood where a lot of house dads, a lot of husbands love them some lawn maintenance. Love some lawn maintenance a little too much for my book. Okay, I'm a busy guy. I try to maintain the lawn here and the premises as best as I can.
Looks good.
But we've got a podcast to host. I've got a company to run. I've got other obligations that I need to get to professionally.
You're in culinary school?
I'm not in culinary school, but I wish I was.
Le Cordon Bleu?
Yes. I'm studying online.
It seems like an issue. Seems a hands-on kind of deal.
There are too many guys that are taking too much pride in their landscaping. Out there with the scissors and measuring the lawn and the height of lawns.
No.
I'm to the point now, Maddie, where I just want to roll out some turf, and I'm not talking field turf. I'm talking old school AstroTurf.
Bright green.
I want to kill the lawn,
Neon.
roll out the AstroTurf, and just be out there with spray paint, just simply to bug these fellow suburban house dads that are out there, because I'm tired of all this lawn maintenance. I'm tired of it. I will mow the lawn. I'll maintain the lawn. I'll try to weed when I can, but I do not have time to be out there with clippers by hand maintaining all this stuff.
In my little slice of upstate New York, over there in Greece, New York, by Rochester, New York,
Shout out Greece.
right there by the mall,
Shout out the Greeks.
there is a lawn that is rocks.
Just rocks.
Just rocks.
Really? This is an interesting concept.
Need some lumbar support.
And all
but
you would have to
it's-
do is weed, really.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer.
That's interesting. That's an interesting theory.
But yeah, so you would say, oh, rocks have given up. They won't even do the weeds. It's pretty well maintained as far as rock lawns go.
Well, really, you can just go around with Roundup and kill whatever then at that
Yeah.
point. Shout out Roundup.
A sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
A sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
A sponsor.
So yeah, that's the get off my lawn moment, is that I don't have time to maintain my lawn.
You and the boybs, man. You and the boybs.
I don't have time to maintain the lawn with scissors.
That's absurd.
Suburban house dads.
You got to get video of that next time.
Get off my lawn. I'm going to try to, believe me. I'm going to get the drone out there just buzzing around. Golly, get off my lawn. All right, Maddie, let's go to Twitter takes. And not friend of the show, but we would love if she was a friend of the show.
She's
simply based on how
she's a joy.
hilarious she is.
She's a joy.
Gabrielle Union,
Gabby
Union, Mrs. Dwayne Wade. Although it's really that he is Mr. Gabby Union.
Mr. Wayne Dwayne.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Was it the Miami mayor called him Wayne Dwades or something? I don't know.
You should find the clip and insert it there. We'll do that in post. Gabrielle Union has been spectacular on Twitter, and she wins it yet again. She tweets, so, are we still debating whether to rest players during the regular season? This, of course, coming after all the dominance that we've had from LeBron and the Cavs and Steph and
Who
the
rested a
Warriors,
lot.
Who rested a lot, yes, exactly. So a rando guy named Freddie Brown, we're going to shout him out because of what he did, tweets and says, your mans ain't even in the playoffs, though. Union, of course, has to respond to this, quote tweeting it saying, who said I was talking about my man? My dude is sitting on 3 championships and is 107 years old, still averaging 19 a game, though. Still averaging 19 a game. He cool, end quote. Mr. Brown, it is Mr. Brown's prerogative to delete his tweet, and like a bad sport, that's what he did after getting lambasted by Gabby Union. I wish I had some clapping here because I wish I had a clapping noise because I want a round of applause to Gabby Union for that whole interaction. It was spectacular.
It just saying he's 100 and said that's not factual, Gabby. It's not factual.
It's not factual, but it is funny.
And you wrote lambasted. I think it's one word. You said LAMB space BASTED. That's just
Is it
barbecue.
one word? It might be one
That's
word.
just culinary. You make sure not being in culinary school. I think lambasting is a delicacy.
I don't think we're to that chapter yet in culinary school. All right, before we head to break,
Charcuterie?
we're going to talk to Ashley Carter around the break about men's fashion. And speaking of fashion, we got to take a few minutes to talk about our boys at $10 Tea Club. If you're like me, you hate the idea of shopping. It kills time. You usually end up spending more for the brand than anything else. Enter $10 Tea Club. This New York-based company has solved all of my problems, hence the T-shirt. They've combined the convenience of online shopping with a great product. And I'm telling you this, I'm not trying to Donald Trump this, but it's it's the best product. Guys, nothing is worse than shopping. And ladies, they do have ladies gear as well. Let's be honest, nothing is better than shopping online. Easy to hide from that significant other. The best part, these guys live up to the name. Great looking, feeling t-shirts starting at just $10. They're simple, they're stylish, they're comfortable. Those are my words, not the company's words. I came up with that. I've saved time and money as a member of $10 Tea Club. I got another order coming in, and I want you guys to save some money too. Head over to $10 Tea Club. That's 10, the number 10, $TEE club.com. Use the promo code TBD. We're going to save you 15% off your first purchase. That's $10tclub.com, promo code TBD. Check out our Twitter handle. We'll tweet that out as well.
I've had a touch. It's very soft.
I've had a touch.
Yeah.
Have you ordered, Maddie?
Yes, I have.
There you go. All right, Maddie. Thanks to our friends at $10 Tea Club. Shout out them. Great products, as I said. Around the corner, our female correspondent. We're going to continue the trend of fashion. We'll talk to Ashley Carter about the male romper and Maddie's getup. That's around the break.
This is what I say when I did not know that we were bringing it back from break yet again. Second straight segment. But it's okay. This is all content. We're back here on TBD.
Content for the PGP. Potentially.
I got to read this. This
This
better.
is the D block, to be determined at Sports by Bond with that Trabs. Matt, pleased to be joined by the one and only female correspondent of To Be Determined at Ashley Carter. Ms. Carter, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm honored. What an intro, too, there. Really showing your side.
Oh, I guess
He's feeling very creative today.
I never write this. I never read this properly.
You wouldn't know it, but
Improv is your calling.
you would know, but we made him stare into a corner the entire week in preparation for the show.
It's happening every single week. It's a problem. I need to go to rehab.
I think
or
the
something.
problem was you started so high, Maddie. There was nowhere to go but down. Hey, listen. Sometimes you have an off week.
It's not ideal.
Sometimes you have an off
It's
week.
not optimal. It's not optimal. But
All right. The one Ashley Carter, and I introduced you as Ms. Carter. It should be Ms. Carter, not Mrs. Carter.
No.
Ms. Carter.
Married.
Not married. But not
I'm a
single
Carter by
either.
birth.
Not single either.
No.
For
not
the
really.
guys hoping to jump in on it. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right.
Bond, give it up.
Sorry. I'm getting lambasted today by my former colleagues here. All right. We're bringing Ashley on this week to talk about male fashion. Quickly, how do we look?
You guys look great. I mean, Matt is
Don't
always the
lie to us
shirt.
though.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like capri arms though. I think this is unisex.
Matt, do your best to describe what you're wearing here, because for the podcast only listeners, this is bad radio.
You're right. You're right. No, it's a shirt from Reason out of New York City,
Not a sponsor.
and it's mostly black, but on the shoulders, like basically from the collarbone out,
Yeah.
it's down to the arms. It's a little zebra, but it's
loud.
weird. It's like capri-ish, and it goes to a weird length. I mean, I don't have a really good wingspan. That's probably it. But it goes to like
an
halfway
awkward
down
length.
the forearm.
It's an awkward line.
kind of like
It's a
baseball-y.
freak-
but yeah.
I was just going to say, you have like a trendy baseball shirt.
That's
right
you
now.
know what? It's not an awkward length, then. It's the appropriate length because it is baseball. I didn't think about that.
No,
Like
but
New
I'm
York
pretty
City,
sure it's
like West Village meets baseball.
Ooh,
I like
you.
that.
Carter. All right, good breakdown
Reason's
there.
gonna ask you for some not lottos,
Descriptions.
slogans. No, slogans.
Some Logans.
Some look.
That was
Well, it's
logo
be-
and slogan.
It's better
together.
than my first guess of lotto. So it's But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna look back at the email and it's gonna tell me it was a unisex purchase because that's what it kind of looks like.
It
but,
happens.
I mean, that's what life is going towards right now.
Yeah.
Though. I mean,
All right. Carter,
fashion.
on the other hand, I've got on our friends of the show, our good friends at $10 Tea Club. Make sure you check out $10teaclub.com/TBD or promo code TBD.
Yes.
I'm wearing their red. Is it crew? Is that the technical?
I think so.
Just a red. It's a plain red T-shirt.
Yeah.
but
Very
it's-
soft.
It's very soft.
Nice.
Does it look all right, Carter?
Yeah, it looks great.
It's simple, but I like that.
Yeah.
I think it
You're-
describes
you're
me.
Good
down
contrast,
To earth
yeah.
Steven right now.
Down
like
to earth. I'm so much more boring than Matt. That's all right.
You DTES. You DTES.
Yes.
DTES.
All right, Carter. The big word in men's fashion, at least this month, has been the male romper. How
Romp him.
the romp him?
How did I not hear that? Oh my gosh.
How?
How
Who
did we
came
get
up
here?
with this? How did we get here? That's
Yes.
really the question. How did we get here?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. It's just like it came out of nowhere. There's just a picture of a bunch of dudes in rompers, and I was like, "There's no way this was a dare or something."
Would you ever put your boyfriend in a romper?
No, it's literally when that all came out. The first text I got from him can I get a romper? And I was like, absolutely not.
So he's in on this then. He likes, or was that a joke?
He was like, all right. He was probably joking, but
He can play it off
We'll
as
see.
so, but
yeah, he's like, oh yeah, that's crazy. I don't want one.
he just looks off into the stars like, no.
He's like, damn it. She said no.
How? That's the only how.
I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. Whenever trends like first come out, I feel like everyone's always like, that's hideous. That's insane. And then 2 years from now, everyone and their dad is wearing whatever. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm kind of like, is this going to take off?
I don't even know if it'll take a couple of years. This might take even just a matter of months before it does.
Yeah.
If the Preakness wasn't like 2 more weeks, everyone would be rocking dudes.
Yeah,
rocking
right?
at the Preakness infield.
Well, the Belmont, we still have the Belmont.
Getting preaky with it, but you can't get
yes.
preaky with it.
That's
It doesn't rhyme as well.
But my question, like romper etiquette, like how short are the shorts supposed to
That's a
be
good
on
question.
them? Because I've seen some, and some of them going down to the knee, but then some of them are really short. Because I know that's coming back in. The short shorts
Yeah,
are
chubbies
back
and
in
whatnot.
with dudes. Yeah.
I always like my shorts a little shorter, but I do leg days.
Yeah, no,
so
I've noticed that. Part.
Mhm.
it's the
You
only thing
got
I got
those
going
runner's
for me.
legs.
It's the only thing I got going for me.
Well-haired legs.
Yes.
Because I am not, so I
Carter,
noticed that.
Have you seen a male romper in person yet?
Oh yeah.
I have not.
Okay.
I feel like in like bigger cities, you'll probably see them
Sure.
first because it always starts in these bigger, trendier cities, these crazy trends. So, Toronto, New York City, you'll see them there. And I have a feeling they're going to start a lot in the gay community because that's where
It's interesting.
things are born most
Okay.
of the time. And then because they are bold enough to just be like, I don't care, I'm going to rock this. And then they trickle down into the heteros or the metrosexual
Sure.
men, and then they trickle down into Matt Traybold, and then they trickle down.
Hashtag dress loud. Yes.
Yes. You know what they remind me of though? They remind me of like a prisoner if they decided to like put on a musical and they cut off their shorts. And they
we need to just end the interview there. You're not going to say anything that was better, Carter. That was
actually like that
spectacular.
analogy a lot. I really do.
like, dude, I just imagine like West Side Story, like prisoners just like snapping and like like that's what I picture in these rompers.
That's spectacular.
Gotta get the snaps real
It's not
close to
gonna
the
get
mic.
I don't even want to ask another
Yeah.
question because it's not going to get any better than that. It's just not going to get any better than that. What? I find it interesting you brought up Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
For the simple reason that things do trickle down from Toronto into the Buffalo area. So
They do.
will Buffalo be the first to upstate New York town to rock the romper?
I don't know. We do have a pretty trendy neighborhood scene in Allentown. So I'm wondering if that's where I'll see it first. But yeah, Toronto, they have a lot of the European stuff going on
Right.
up there. They're so fashionable. So I'm wondering if it'll come down. But not always. And honestly, I feel like even though Toronto's 2.5 hours away, it's still like the Canadian American disconnect. Like it's insane. But
All right.
so I guess my question: would you guys wear them?
Oh, she's putting it back on us.
No, I can't. I can't do it. That's a lot of fabric. I can't.
Okay, I'm gonna mark that
listen.
down now, and we'll see where you're at
I
a
think-
year from now.
I think there's
That's
a
a good point.
scenario where I would wear one.
Jail play.
Not jail
Yeah.
play. Not jail play.
Your Jailhouse musical.
It's still in. It's still a work in progress.
Tony Award winning.
I think I would wear one for a chick if the situation was right.
Mhm.
If. It's a big if. I got to find the female
you're-
first.
Like
That's
you're
a-
vacationing in south of France or something.
Yeah, maybe overseas where it's already a thing.
Parisians.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be breezy. I mean, to a certain extent, maybe you can air out a little bit. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. So dudes, I mean, you guys obviously pee next to each other, which is the weirdest thing ever still to me. But like you have to get butt naked to go to the bathroom.
Well, that's the thing. They're gonna have a
Oh
zipper
my
on. 'em.
gosh.
That's a good point. Are they gonna
I
have a
didn't think
zipper?
of that.
And like a woman, like we're in the stall, like we're by ourselves, it's fine.
No, you
You guys
girls
are
all go to
next
the
to each
bathroom
other.
together. Don't lie to me.
Okay, yeah, like when we're drinking because like we forget how to do it. We're like, oh my god, Stacy, where do I go? So,
Oh, good God.
but no, yeah,
Jello
usually
shots. Spring break!
in the toilet. Oh my god, do my zipper. Weird things happen in there. Anywho.
All right. Speaking of anywho, even though it has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. So, one of my favorite memes out there, it's one of the Rugrats, one of the twins. He's got like the hair that's just in the middle of his head. And it's like, this is 95% of guys' hair right now. Like, was it the undercut? I have the undercut.
Yes.
Do you like the undercut? So many people have it, these dudes.
Yes, I do like it a lot.
Dang.
I like when it's. I don't. If you're like nearly bald though, and then you have like the lettuce on top, like it needs to blend in nicely. But
so you gotta.
I definitely like that.
You gotta have the lettuce in general to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You need like that slick flow too. You need that silky, shiny hair. You can't have like my textured hair and do that. I feel like it doesn't work.
So you can't be a ginger, is what you're saying.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, you can't be a ginger in a lot of scenarios, but here I am.
So Bon, you gotta do it.
I don't have the undercut.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
I've never had the undercut.
You gotta get on that. But I'm with you. You can't have it like super scalpy on the sides. Like 1 week, I couldn't remember like what I got on the sides. I don't know why. I was like 1.5 instead of a 2. And I look like it's like a rocker, like a hardcore like punk rocker. I like go to work.
Like
I do like
Macklemore.
Yes, I go like high school games, just looking like, kind of look like Macklemore. I got to Mack a little bit less.
He goes to open mic night in his off days.
They're like, look at this guy.
Rochester. Oh, good God.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Ashley Carter, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Twitter. Okay, yeah, Twitter at
Twitter Tinder.
Twitter
Tinder.
Tinder.
Mm-hmm. At Ashley Carter. That's it.
That's
I
it.
like it.
Instagram? Are we promoting Instagram as well?
Yeah, it's the same handle.
Same
at Ashley
thing.
Carter.
All right, Ashley
Find me there.
Carter, the female correspondent of To Be Determined.
Ooh, so honored.
Carter, thank you for the insight.
Thanks, guys.
All right, our thanks to the female correspondent, Ashley Carter. Once again, interesting stuff on the male romper there. I may be in trouble for saying that I would wear one, but under the right circumstances.
You heathen.
It would take a lot. It would take a lot.
It's okay. You're a heathen.
I'm just saying it would take a lot. All right, we'll roll the bump music. Time for It's Got Legs, NCAA men's lacrosse tournament time. Towson has destroyed both of our dreams. They ran through Penn State. They flat out dominated Syracuse today.
They work hard.
It's not a fun team to watch.
But man, they
are
work
they
hard.
good?
Well, it's funny that the last name of their goalie that went crazy yesterday, or well, I guess it is yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah. is Hoy because H-O-Y, I think it's pronounced the same way in Spanish as today.
Oh, there you go.
So
All right.
that's the day he did well. I guess every day is today.
Maryland, the top seed in the tournament, and they appear to be, the best in breed. No doubt about it. They just flat out dominated a very strong Albany team. Albany never looked right, and it was really from the face-off, and it trickled on down. T.D. Erlin didn't look right at times, found a little bit of a groove, but it just wasn't enough for that Great Dane team. Maryland, the real deal. They're going to face Denver. Towson going to face Ohio State. It's a battle of experienced coaches versus relative newcomers. John Tillman of Maryland, Bill Tierney of Towson going to face, I forgot how to pronounce his name all of a sudden. Sean Nataline. I think it's Nataline.
Nataline, I think?
Maybe Nataline, and Nick Myers. Two relative newcomers, experienced in their own right, but guys that you don't know as much. So, Maddie, who you got?
I would like to see it be, just because of the storyline, maybe a little Towson, Maryland. It would be kind of like if the Final Four was
Baltimore battle.
Gonzaga, Oregon, or if it was the two Carolina teams, South and North. But I think it's going to be Maryland. I think it's going to be Ohio State. Something's got to give with Towson. Cinderella's got to.
The same could be said with Ohio State, though. But Ohio State is a talented team.
Yeah.
Ohio State's a very talented group.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be Baltimore-ish bound in Boston, but we shall see. I like Maryland. I like Maryland all the way. That's who I'm sticking and staying with.
Oh, but who do you have in the Final Four as well?
I'm going to have him facing Towson. I'm going to stick with Towson now.
Keep it with the Maryland.
Big guest lined up for next week. Maddie, your boy, going to join us.
Travis Eldridge, anchor host, Lax Sports Network. Going to have him talking that beautiful, beautiful Final Four there in Foxborough. Chris Hogan hopefully will be in attendance at those games.
I'm sure he will be.
He's been doing some stuff for Patriots.com
it'll
about
be fun.
it. It's
It'll be
beautiful.
fun. All right, our thanks to Justin Granite, WTSP down in Tampa, St. Pete area. Great nuggets on the diamond. Our thanks to our female correspondent, Ashley Carter. Our thanks to the guys at $10 Tea Club. Make sure you use the promo code TBD. Get yourself 15% off. Maddie, my thanks to you. Check us out on social media. This drops on a Monday. Obviously, check out the post-game press conference on a Wednesday. Friday show on the Friday. That's all I got, boys. Later.